Hey guys, it's Roscoe on Space Coast 8. We're joined by Kylo Ren because it's been a year now since The Last Jedi came out, which means it's a year till episode 9, whatever that is going to be called. So I thought it's time for us to look back on it, I guess. Now, obviously, that film has some issues. It does some things really well, other things not so well. Things that I did like him in it, actually. He's not my favourite character in Star Wars, but I think he was my favourite character in this. I think he got the most character growth in that film, although there was not that much character growth for anyone in that one, unfortunately, because of the nature of the writing. Everything just happens, you know. Now this is happening, now this is happening, now this is happening. I also did think that the Force link between him and Rey was a very interesting concept, and I think that worked. I think the explanation for it was Snoke bridging them. I don't know, I'd like to see that connection continue in the next one, probably against both of their wills, to be honest, because neither of them would now really want to be having that mental link with each other when they are both very disappointed in each other, especially Rey, but he is also disappointed in her also. Now, things I didn't think worked was the depiction of Luke Skywalker, as so many of you have said over the last year. It's just not the Luke Skywalker we were expecting or that we wanted. And I know there was a lot of the whole subverting expectations thing that Ryan was saying beforehand. But that only works if you enjoy what the new twist is. And a lot of people did not enjoy that. And obviously, there's the meme now of Luke Skywalker with the green milk. It's like, you know, oh, why? And I felt that his death just felt unnecessary and just stuck in there. He didn't need to die, you know? It's like he could have still projected himself and then not died and then met up with them in the next movie. Now, as for other deaths, I didn't mind that they killed off Snoke. And I did think that was well done. I did think his Imperial Guards, his Red Guards rather, took a little while to respond to him being killed, you know? It's like the instant that lightsaber went on, they should have been storming towards Rey and Kylo. But no, it was, could have been up to 10 seconds before, I don't know. So I didn't think that was very well shown. And the fight, I liked it, but I mean, I didn't think it was amazing or as awesome as a lot of people do. And I have noticed the errors in the choreography of that fight. Yeah, and just a personal thing for me, but there was too much red in that movie, I think. The throne room and the guards, so you could barely make them out against the wall. And that's not intentional. Then on the planet Crate as well, with the red there. Yeah, too much red, I thought, in there. And another thing, it just, too much of the film felt inside, you know, like it was shot inside. Even some of the big scenes that look like they're outside, like a lot of the Crate stuff, for instance, and the battle there, certainly the one between him and Luke Skywalker. Very little outside. There's the bits in Ireland, but even a lot of that was filmed in a set. So yeah, that was one thing that it just nagged at me. I was wondering, there's something about this. What is it? It said you didn't get the sense of being outside like you do in a lot of the other, just about all of the other Star Wars movies. That's one of the reasons why, in some ways, it was similar to the prequels. A lot of that, obviously, the big CGI sequences and everything. It's better if you can have an outdoor set. I know there's limitations with that, but hey, that's what we expect as Star Wars fans. Now, the visuals for me, yes, they were all fine for the most part. And as I've mentioned before, the Fathiers didn't work for me. And I do wish they'd actually used dogs in crystal suits for the Vulptices, because I saw in the extras the dog in the suit, and that worked much better than the CGI ones. I also didn't have a problem with porgs, as you know. I love porgs. But yes, thinking back on it now, a year later, where does JJ go from here? Because, I mean, it felt like the plot ended in the second movie, and that was another of the problems I had with it. It doesn't go anywhere. Captain Phasma completely wasted. I wish they would bring her back, because she survived worse in the comics and the Phasma novel but we shall have to see. There was a lot of low-hanging fruit missed from The Force Awakens that was just not followed up on. Finn's hero coma completely wasted. He should have been much more active as a character than he was. And more of a sense of purpose, I mean, because obviously he's active in that film. I did think his and Rosa's arc, as much as I like the two characters, it really didn't work. And Canto Bight, as I've said before, it felt like being on the holodeck of the Starship Enterprise. But yes, what JJ's got to do is give the fans their faith back, I suppose. Obviously, Luke is dead, so there's no getting past that. He will be back. He is back, I assume, as a Force ghost or in flashbacks. I would like to know more about, say, Finn, because the first Stormtrooper to ever defect from the First Order, and they just don't talk about that. I don't know. I'd like to see more about that. Have him have a satisfying journey, because he really didn't in the last one. As a character, it just went round in circles. So that's what I'd like to see. I would like to see a bit more progression for Rey's character, because the problem with the new Star Wars trilogy, other than the fact it's clear that there was no overall plan for it from the start, or if there was a plan, it got ditched. It's just, things just come too easy. You know, I mean, I like Rey's character. I don't know how many Rey figures. I really enjoyed Daisy Ridley's performance in it. But it just comes too easily to her. She doesn't have to struggle or work or suffer to gain anything. And in the old days of George Lucas, that would be a fast track to the dark side. Because, you know, it's like easier, quicker the dark side is, but not stronger. But nowadays, it isn't about that. It's just, oh, this is just how it is now. It just happens this fast. So that's unsatisfying from a narrative storytelling point of view. We want characters to grow, and you grow by suffering. You know, even Yoda says, was a failure the greatest teacher failure is? I can't remember how he phrased it now. But Rey's not had any failures, and she needs to have some to be a better character and to be a more believable one, and one that we will really be pleased for when she beats Kylo, because I assume that is what is going to happen at the end. But yes, that's basically my thoughts on The Last Jedi. I have watched it several times over the last year. I don't think I've managed to do it in one whole sitting yet, but I'll watch the first half, then the second half the following day. And I like it, you know, and there are some things I really like in it. I mean, the Holdo maneuver, yes, I know it's problematical from the battle strategy point of view, as in why has this never happened before, but I mean, I literally, my jaw dropped open when I saw that. It's spectacular, it really is. And so many other things like that were very well done, but other things weren't. I think the Admiral Holdo character wasn't used as well as she could have been. It would have been much better if opening shot had been her ship, the Ninka, and then the Raddus jump in to view, like in the original A New Hope, where one flies and the other comes in after it. But they're the remains of the Republic fleet come to rescue the Resistance. She is Poe's former commanding officer, and there's your tension between them, rather than the rather forced version that we got. But hey, we can all be armchair quarterbacks, and we've all written the perfect Star Wars story or sequel or fan fiction in our heads, you know, but it is what it is. We've got what we've got. How JJ moves forward will be very important for the future of the franchise after Episode 9. Whether or not there's going to be further trilogies or standalones, or if they're just going to concentrate on TV for a while, who knows? But the most satisfying Star Wars product, I think, for me, has really been the books and the comics and the associated canonical material, like the Alien Archive, the Women of the Galaxy, the Propaganda book, the Stormtroopers book, all that sort of thing, where they can get into some real depth. Certainly in the comics and the books, they go into a lot of very interesting things about the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and all of that. In the Star Wars, the Darth Vader, the Dr. Aphra comics. So interesting that the films in many ways are the least interesting part of the Star Wars canon, although I do love all of the films, of course. But I still think, for me, The Last Jedi sits just above Revenge of the Sith. So above all of the prequels, but that's as high as it goes. So that's number 7 still for me in my Star Wars list. So yes, there you go, guys. That's just my thoughts on The Last Jedi a year later. I will say the things that really annoyed me do still annoy me, but not as much, because, you know, when you see Leia flying through space so many times, you get numbed to it. And it's like that with a lot of the stuff, I suppose. And it's like, let's just get through this bit. I'm like, here we go, she's flying through space again. But yeah, there you go, guys. Like I said, it is a divisive film, but I do still like it, you know. I mean, I like all the Star Wars movies. The Force Awakens I absolutely loved, however, and that's why it's my favourite one, whereas Last Jedi is at number 7. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or suggestion for an upcoming topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.